Hey everyone, it's Forrest from the Geek's Guide to Enough, feeling a little bit under the weather today, so my voice is going to sound just a little bit off, but I'm still going to record this. I'm recording it way later in the week than I wanted to, but here we are. So to get right into it, I won't lie. I know some people are gonna head straight to the comments with this, but I'm a pretty big fan of Dave Ramsey. I hear the keyboards. Now, do I agree with everything that he says? No, but there's a lot he says that I do live by. One hard and fast rule of his that I don't live by, on the other hand, is no credit cards whatsoever.
I don't have a credit card. You don't have a credit card? I don't have a credit card. You don't have a credit card? I don't have a credit card. I have debit cards.
I was that way at first. I didn't want any credit cards. I didn't trust myself with a debit card, so why trust myself with a credit card? I'll explain about the not trusting myself with a debit card in a minute. I finally got a credit card so that I could build a credit score I could present to a bank when I wanted to buy a house. If Dave Ramsey knew my plan, he'd be pissed. We all know that. The advice I got was only to use the credit card for things like gas, or whenever I go to the store to buy almond milk, because I'm not a dairy milk drinker, because I'm a Crohn's loser. In short, the plan was to use the credit card for small, inconsequential purchases, then pay it off the same day. If you're still bearing with me at this point, hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because it's only going to get better from here. I thought I was invincible to the allure of spending with a credit card. You hear all the horror stories about insane credit card debt that people get themselves into, and how that debt practically controls those people's lives for the rest of their lives. When you have something that allows you to buy something right away and you don't have to worry about paying for it right away, it's tempting for anyone. I thought I was stronger. And I should have known that, so allow me to explain by first giving the definition of overdrafting. Overdrafting is the process in which you sit down with your girlfriend of 1 year at Hoo Hot after seeing Logan on opening weekend, and you open your bank account out of curiosity to see that your checking account is in the negative. I knew I was capable of making stupid money decisions when I feel like I have free reign, and that's what a credit card can entice you with. Freedom, even though it's a false freedom. Using the credit card for gas and small miscellaneous purchases turned into eating out after we had spent all the money from the eating out category in our budget, and I just figured I'd pay it off once the new month starts. That complicated things, because once the new month started and that one-time out was paid off, that money had less money to spend on eating out. You see the problem there? It just made my life and my finances so much more complicated. I became a victim of the same thing so many other people are victims of. The temptation of instant gratification without thinking about the long-term consequences. A couple months ago, I fell victim to a fraud scheme and lost almost $5,000 in the process. Normally, I'm good at picking out the red flags when it comes to scam calls, but this terrible person was good at what he does. Those scammers are admittedly getting better, and we need to watch out for that. The good news is my bank compensated me for my loss, but it did cause me to change a few habits. In my misery, I had a lot of time to sit around and think while the fraud investigation was ongoing. I really started to examine the bad habits I had accumulated with the credit card. I decided from that point on that I would only use my credit card at home. It was never going to leave the house with me ever again. It would only be used to pay some automatic bills and online purchases. I decided never to use my debit card online again. If someone out there uses your credit card number, it's easier to dispute it and get refunded than it is when your debit card is used. In fact, there may be some cases where there's a chance you won't get that money back. Even some of the most financially literate among us think we'll handle credit cards better than other people do, only for us to fall down the same rabbit hole of mistakes. Not only did I start using it to excuse eating out with money I didn't have, I procrastinated on paying for the purchases I made with it, letting them stack up to the point where I couldn't remember what was what. I'm not going to tell you to not get a credit card if you don't already have one. Again, I got one to manage a credit score for when my wife and I are ready to house shop, so I had a very specific goal behind having a credit card, but I will warn you that if you want to get a credit card and have a reason for doing it, Don't just assume that you'll be more responsible than others. Set limits for yourself ahead of time. Make some ground rules for yourself, and with your spouse if you have one. Don't get a credit card if you really think that you'll be irresponsible with it in ways that'll be hard to fix. If you do get one, and becomes clear that no matter what you do, you can't get bad habits under control, it might be time to come to terms with the fact that you are not, as Caleb Hammer of Financial Audit likes to say, a credit card person.
Buddy, we're worlds apart from being a credit card person. Worlds apart.
And that's okay. Mistakes are how we learn to manage our money better, and I've made more than just recklessly using a credit card. I share my biggest mistake when it came to budgeting in this video here in the top right if you want to continue this journey with me. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more of me, join my Substack at thegeeksguidetoenough.substack.com, geeksguidetoenough.substack.com, and check out my novel The Glass God on Amazon, links to both in the description below. I'll see you next time.